Okay, I believe we are live. This is Warrior Women in Business podcast, episode number 71. And we've been so busy at Warrior Women in Business. So you haven't heard from us since our last podcast guest, who is amazing, Amber Balkian, and one of the top NASCAR drivers and champions in the United States, based out of Winnipeg, Canada. So I mix up our guests with amazing women across sports, entertainment, and of course, business. And I'm excited, really excited for today's guest because as women business owners, we are constantly pushing to drive revenue, as I know that somebody that runs a marketing and branding agency, but a lot of us have a tough time managing our finances, both professional and personal, and then bringing them together in a way that supports both our personal and professional goals. So I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about today in episode number 71, and also next week in episode number 72 when I have a VP from Key Bank on. So a lot going on with supporting your finances as we move into 2026. So before I introduce today's amazing guest, and thank you so much for being on, that's number one. I just want to give a little bit of background for those of you that might have joined Warrior Women in Business, either as a member or you're on the podcast as a listener, or you're watching us live on YouTube today for the first time. Just a little bit of background and some things we have coming up, and then I'll jump right into the podcast. So, Warrior Women in Business is a marketing and media organization, and very simply, we have one mission: to support the economic development of female entrepreneurs and women in the arts. So if you've been to any Warrior Women event or you've heard of them, you'll know that they are intended to be fun, interesting, and connective across all of those three things. So we have female executives, we have female executives that have turned entrepreneur. I know we're going to talk about that a little bit today. We have new women business owners, and we have female performers at all of our events. They're fun and they connect women in a way where they can really become personally connected so that they can grow together. So that's Warrior Women in Business. The website, as you see on my screen here, is Warrior Women Business. We have so many events coming up. That's why I've been very busy. We have an event coming up to support, like we do every single year, to support the New York City End GBV Coalition, which helps to support and end gender-based violence, not only internationally, but here in our city. In November, we're doing a program in fashion, and we're doing a fundraiser there as well for vision support and disability. I've had a few folks from the New York City mayor's office in the disability division. So this is what we do. And then the last thing I want to mention, as a marketing organization, we've helped over 500 women in business move forward, but we found that a lot of them, no one is the same. So just recently, we've launched a fast track program. So within 1 week, women business owners can come in for literally under $800 and get their entire digital marketing analyzed and get moving forward. So that's on the website. That's new. That's being announced. So all of that being said, I want to get into today's guest. Ruchi Pinniger, correct? Yes, I'm saying that correctly.
Yes.
She, yes. So she's the CEO of Watch Her Prosper, and we all want to watch all the warrior women prosper. It's not easy being a woman in business. So a little bit of background on her, and then I'm jumping to the questions. She is a trailblazing former hedge fund CFO on Wall Street. So congratulations on that. I can't really even imagine what that's like. And she's an international speaker, venture capitalist, investor, and founder and CEO of Watch Her Prosper. And I want to pause there for a second, because what I have found in running Warrior Women in Business and just being a women business owner overall, sometimes it's really hard for us to get connected to women that invest in other women. And I really applaud the women that are doing this. It's not easy. I had the CIO of Hypatia Capital Group on my podcast, I don't know, a few months ago, and we kind of got into that. And I think that's a growing field, but it's difficult. And I'm sure, Ruchi, you can share some experience around there that might help some of these female entrepreneurs understand what it's like. Are they ready for it? What do they have to do to get ready? Those types of things that, we constantly get questions at here at Warrior Women in Business, and we're a marketing company. So these are not
Yeah.
our answers here. From high stakes Finance to Empowering Female Entrepreneurs, Ruchi shares how courage, and it's definitely, that's what Warrior Women is all about, courage, vision, and resilience, which we talk about a lot, create long-lasting and strong prosperity. So, welcome to the show with all that being said.
Thank you so much. It is incredible to be here with your audience, your warrior women.
Yes, we are warrior
Mm,
women. Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for being on. I want to jump right into the questions. So, talk a little bit about, I mean, on every podcast, everybody asks about the background, but the thing is,
mhm.
everybody's background is completely different. So, could you share what you do for a living and where does the passion come from and what's it like for you day to day supporting female entrepreneurs?
Yeah, absolutely. So the passion, I think, really comes from how I grew up, number one, and then my career. So I can tell you that I was the daughter of an immigrant mom. She was also a single mom because we lost our dad really early on. So think about,
Okay.
I'm an 80s girl. Think about the Jordache jeans. Okay. Go back with me for a moment. Now, back in the 80s, all my friends, my classmates, they had those coveted jeans, and all I wanted was to have my own pair when they were in fashion, not 2 years later when they were on the sale rack. We didn't have
Right.
the money for that. I remember as a little girl seeing that and thinking having those jeans, having that material, tangible thing
Mhm.
was what made a happy life a perfect life. Okay.
Mhm.
And that
Mhm.
is the story I created and carried with me. Fast forward to Wall Street. I finally made it, was making money, quote unquote successful. And I was like, all right, I'm going to buy myself the thing that's going to make me feel happy and have the
Did you get
perfect
the
life.
Jordache jeans?
No, not then, because they weren't
Sorry,
in
I had to
style
ask.
anymore. Girl, oh, I did eventually back in the 80s.
Yeah.
But now, once I was on Wall Street, it was the
Yeah.
Prada bag, the
Oh,
coveted Prada bag,
I mean, that's
that
my
beautiful
favorite thing.
triangle. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
However, it is gorgeous. However, here's what I found. Bought it, went into debt, and what
Mhm.
happened? Nothing changed. I got that dopamine hit, the excitement of buying it, having the beautiful thing, but my life was the same. And
Mhm.
that was for me like this pivotal moment where I realized prosperity comes from the inside. It's an inside job. Those
Mhm.
material things are beautiful. If you have the budget for them, great, go for it. But if you think they're going to change your life or make you whole, they are not. And
That
so
is truth.
that
Mhm.
is one of the pivotal things that we do, within Watch Her Prosper is really working with our clients around their finances, doing the tax time readiness, not the tax returns, getting them, excellent bookkeeping and helping provide financial guidance. But we do it with a twist of mindset work and like really looking at their belief system and their structure and how that's impacting their numbers.
Listen, 1,000,000%. I love what you just said. I had a client yesterday ask that recommended a book for me to read or listen to. I mainly do audio.
Yeah.
And she asked me, what am I into? What do I listen to? And I said, I'm all about financial empowerment and understanding how the mind gets in the way because it gets in the way. So I love that you're tackling that, and it's not just financial quote unquote advisory services. I love it. So okay, so let's talk about the next thing that makes a lot of
Mm,
sense here. Um, so talk to us a little bit about how women in business and women in
mhm,
general struggle
mm.
with their finances. What does that look like? What are, some commonalities, obviously? And then how does it impact their businesses?
Yeah, so going back to those beliefs, right? First of all, a lot of that is subconscious beliefs.
Mm,
95 to 97% of how we show up every day is based on the subconscious beliefs we don't even realize we're carrying with us because when we're little, when we're in the womb till us being 7 or 8 years old, we're literally like a video recorder watching everything, taking everything in,
mm,
belief formed. This happens, belief formed. So
mm,
what's happening is we start our businesses, we've got these stories. So I'll give you some for example. For
great.
example, here's what I've seen. I was talking to a woman. She was really struggling with increasing her rates. She wasn't making enough revenue to support herself and her family. And I talked to her about like what's happening here. And we kind of got to the gist of it, which was she remembers as a child her single mom raising her, saying, I have to work really hard for money. I have to hustle. Her mom was never home. Her mom struggled. And she saw that in order to make money to provide for her, her mom had to go through that. And so
Yeah.
she's now, 20, 30 years later, she's a single mom. She's
Mm,
undercharging because she has a belief
wow.
that if I make more, it means I have to hustle. It means I won't be present. It means I'm going to struggle like my
Wow,
mom.
that's eye-opening. Mm.
It's eye-opening. I mean,
Really, I mean, it is. I'm being honest. It's very
yeah,
eye-opening.
girl, we carry it. I hear people, their parents fought about money. Now they think
Yeah.
money's bad to have. They don't feel safe holding money, which means they're not charging. They're burning themselves out in business. They're
Mm,
letting their belief systems impact their rates, how they're paying themselves, everything.
mm.
So I can share a really quick tool if it's
Yeah,
helpful.
please.
I think
Sure. Go ahead.
people love this tool. It's my proprietary RIR method. It's
Hmm.
recognize, interrupt, reframe. So
Hmm.
really start to pay attention to your thoughts because we have an average of 60,000 thoughts per day, y'all. And as women, 80% are negative. 80%. Okay. So I want you
Guard your
all
mind.
to pay attention.
Yes.
Start today. Start paying attention to your thoughts and what you're carrying with you. Are you thinking about lack and scarcity? There's never enough,
Hmm.
or more abundant thoughts. I'm always provided for. I have, the limitlessness that you
Correct.
have in you,
Yeah.
right? Pay attention when you find yourself going down the rabbit hole of negative thoughts.
Mhm.
Okay, recognize it, interrupt it, and then I want you to reframe it. So you might be like, oh, it's so hard to make money. There's never enough. There's so much debt. Recognize, interrupt, reframe. There's always enough to pay the bills. I'm so abundant. And not just the words, it's not just a mantra. What does it feel like in your body when you like literally close your eyes and you just feel the abundance around you? You just feel in your body how abundant, how everything is available to you.
Hmm.
What does that feel like? And that's the feeling when you embody the feeling, that's how you attract the actual thing.
Mm, I love that. It's like sports psychology in a sense.
Yeah,
Feeling.
a lot of this, that's right.
Feeling. No, but I love
Yeah.
it because you're right. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. That feeling, if you talked about dopamine hit with a Prada bag, right?
Hmm.
So I'm equating these two things, which is interesting because it's almost as if you're embodying what you want to feel like and then continuing to want to feel that feeling, right?
That's exactly right. And I love that you brought up sports because I have a little bit of a fun fact. This is all neuroscience. Now our minds don't know the difference between reality and imagination. So there are studies being done often on athletes, musicians, where they are measuring the brain activity when you're doing the actual thing and when you're envisioning it and feeling it. So, for
Hmm.
example, a baseball player at home plate hits a home run, running the bases, feeling the wind on their arms, the goosebumps, the roar of the crowd,
Hmm.
that feeling, the excitement in the stadium, sliding onto home plate
Hmm.
when they do it for real versus imagine it and feel all the things I just talked to you about. Same brain activity. So, this is the same concept, getting your body used to what you want versus what you don't want.
Mm, I love this. I love this, right? And I love that you're talking about it because people tend to think about money in a narrow-minded fashion, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
I
They're
do know what you mean.
right. I mean,
I
they think
mean,
about, okay, especially women business owners,
yes.
you know,
That's why I
I
do
have to
this.
make money. Here's what I'm going to do. I have a plan. I work in a
Yeah.
lot of strategy, planning, executing of plans.
Yes.
It's very structured, right?
Yes.
And so it's
Yes.
interesting that you're bringing the mind body into that structure.
Yeah, because listen to me, all of you, your business revenue will never outperform your relationship with money.
It's the truth.
You have to do both. You have to do both. So it is about the planning and the strategy, and we can talk more about that,
Mhm.
as well as the belief system, the structure, all of that relationship that you have with the money.
So talk to me a little bit
Yeah.
about, because every guest I've had on has
Mm.
good stories, good and bad
Mhm.
stories of
Yeah.
working with other women. And this, a lot of what we talk about here is working with other women. So do you have any female heroes or women that have helped you along the way, or maybe some present female heroes that you're working with, and how have they helped you?
Oh yeah. I just think about my mom. I lost her really early on and for me, she was a hero because I watched her basically reinvent herself in this country. She was an educator overseas. She came in without those credentials, started out as a bank teller, worked her way up as an executive in a bank. So she was a huge role model and a huge reason why I went into business and ultimately had my Wall Street career. The other one, and I love her. Sarah Blakely, right? Like
Oh yeah,
she,
it's a great story.
yeah,
Mm,
she's just incredible what she built from the ground up, right? But
yeah,
also like the belief in herself, the belief that it's okay to do things differently, to use your intuition, which is really important in business, to
so
trust
important.
yourself and
Absolutely.
like her heart, her kindness, her generosity. You see the thing with like her wedding dress. She's shared it with women who have needed a wedding dress, and like now it's a whole thing. Her red backpack foundation, like those are things like I dream about, and I have done so
I
many
get it.
other incredible things, but I really think about that. And so yeah, those are kind of the top two that I think about.
Well,
Yeah.
you talked about the characteristics, which is interesting, right? So your mom,
Yes.
and I'm sorry about your mom, but your mom
Thank
sounds
you.
like someone that had, like you said, she reinvented herself, and that is not easy to do, whether it's an international reinvention or just a general reinvention alone. And
That's
then
right.
you also talked about the key about generosity, and I want to get into that.
Yes.
I wasn't even thinking about it, but now I am. So,
Yeah, let's do it.
I have seen in my own reinvention, to be honest with you, and other people that I try to help as much as I can in their reinvention of the mind that's related to their business, um, thinking in terms of generosity. I know 100% that thinking in terms of generosity and actually doing things not only helps your business grow, but it helps you become a better whole person. So can you talk about generosity a little bit and where you've seen that play better for some of your clients or in your business?
I would love to talk about it because one of the stories I hear is like, I feel bad to charge more.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Anybody? Yeah.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah. People.
so here's the reminder, right? The more we make, the more we have available to us to do
Hmm.
beautiful things in the world. So that's why in the work we take a really holistic approach. One of the things that we do, and this is important for all of you,
Hmm.
is when you start to think about your business and your revenue, it's not just the number, right? You can have a 5 million or a $1 million business and have hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, or you can have a business that's a few hundred thousand and you're providing for yourself, for your family, for your team, and for your dreams. And that's what we want you to have, everything that you possibly want, so that you have budget to be generous, right? Like so it's there
Hmm.
for you.
Of course.
And so really thinking about your cash flow from a holistic perspective is something that is so important as any woman building, is really looking at your revenue, looking at all of your expenses,
Right.
incorporating, of course, saving for taxes, saving for growth and emergency fund. And then not only paying yourself, but what do you need to make to be able to build the life of your dreams? That includes all the generosity, all the wealth building, your future plans, whether it's buying a home, building a family, really looking at it holistically. And that's actually one of the things that a lot of women don't do. We sort of just like look at our, what are we making? What are our expenses? Hopefully you're at least doing that. And if
Yeah,
not,
that
that's
should be the
okay.
bare minimum.
Today's the start date, right? Like what are you
Yes,
making?
right.
What are you spending? There's profit. Profit is the starting point in your planning because profit's now what's going to provide for your family, for the growth, for your future, for your wealth, for your generosity. So it's really important to do that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. One thing that we do, for our marketing clients and that I do with my own business, I really think one of the reasons to be a woman business owner, obviously what I'm doing with
Mhm.
We're Women in Business, is to have impact, but not just externally, but internally. So one thing that I help with both with my own teams as well as my clients' teams is helping them to continually reward their employees. So I
Love
think
that.
that to me is something, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because it's how I look at cash flow analysis, financial projections, my company, my clients' companies when we're handling their marketing budgets. It's okay, how are you scaling, but how are you rewarding? Especially in a
Yes.
especially today, hiring and keeping people is difficult. And we talk about that a lot on
Mm,
Women in Business. So I think that
mm,
what
yeah.
you were talking about, it needs to be a part of that equation, right?
Yeah, I love that. One of the things I say to the clients that I work with is like when you're struggling with raising your rates and you're letting your belief system get in the way for whatever reason, I've heard one person say, when I asked for things, my mother said that I was selfish. And so now when
Oh,
she thinks
wow.
about raising her rates, she carries that heaviness with her. I
Yeah,
reminded her of the ripple effect. When you raise your rates, what's the ripple effect? Like,
right.
how are you
Love it.
providing for the world, for your family, for your team, for the families of your team? Like, allow that to be your driver.
Yeah. Well, I actually enjoy that responsibility for some strange reason. I think that's good. You're
Yeah.
doing things for other people. Otherwise, and at Warrior Women, we're really our intention is economic growth and development. We can't
Yes.
do that unless we're actually hiring people and rewarding them. So, I know that I didn't mention it up front because I had
Yep.
so many things to say. And also, my name is Jasmine Sandler. I don't even think I even mentioned that because I just go with the flow. But one thing that I didn't mention up front is that Ruchi is providing a free gift for all Warrior Women podcast attendees, members, and social media followers. So, can you talk a little bit about your cash flow gift that you're providing and how people can access that?
Yeah, amazing. And that's so we talked about today is like a day one. If you've been putting your head in the sand, haven't been focused on your numbers, and want to really start building out your cash flow planning based on the life you want, I have a beautiful gift. It's a cash flow confidence free mini course for you. So you can just go to cashflowprojectionstemplate.com, cashflowprojectionstemplate.com, download that. And there's some videos there, and there's a beautiful spreadsheet. You can enter numbers, but I walk you through how to do it and
Oh,
really
very
start to
nice.
get a handle on your money, y'all.
I love spreadsheets. I just
I
have to
do
say.
too.
I think
Girl,
they
me
are
too.
like the most fun thing to do because it gives you visibility into, it not only gives you visibility into what you're doing, but for me, and I think many women business owners, it gives them excitement about what the future holds, right?
That's exactly right. And you get to build the life you want.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's all available to you. How do you plan for it? So there's the sort of like the manifestation and belief that we talked about, but also the practical tactical of it and the aligned action you're going to take.
Yeah, I love it. So I know we only have about 5 minutes left, so I
Yeah.
want to get into my my question I ask every single guest, and every single guest, which I love because everybody's different, has a different answer. So
Yes.
when I reached out to you and asked you to be on the podcast, and you heard the term warrior women in business, what came to mind?
What came to mind is like kind of like can I say badass?
Oh my
A,
God, that's my mantra. I just bought
it's,
listen, I just bought a packet of badass patches for my team yesterday.
yes. Okay. So I'm on track. Okay. I
Yeah.
think of just like a badass woman who just knows she is enough, knows she's whole. And like we talked about resilience, but is just so resilient and knows like having a business is the biggest professional or personal development journey you'll ever be on. So
I love that.
that there's ups and downs and there's bumps and there's also beautiful moments, but just like using that vision and your mission as your North Star to drive you and just help to lift each other up.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't have said it better. I
Amazing.
like nothing to add. It's so perfect. And I feel
Thank you.
like the more that I've been in business and the more that we support women business owners, the more that they own that term because they do realize you can't be, I don't want to say it, but it's true, the typical woman who's raised to be quiet or raised to not, like you've said about 4 times on this podcast, and I love that you're saying it, I'm afraid to ask for the money. I'm afraid to ask for more money. You have to
Mhm.
ask for the money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. How do we
So
how do we make the impact we want as women? You know, the generosity we talked about. How do we do that otherwise?
that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
So how can people get in touch with you directly? I'm sure based on
Mhm.
your amazing info. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. These are,
You're
I
welcome.
love the way you speak because it's very action oriented. And I think that's what we need to be action oriented. So how can
Yeah.
people get in touch with you?
Yeah, a few ways. So, Instagram, I'm very active there. You can follow me there. Send me a DM if you need anything, if you need support. A reminder on the link that I shared. My website, watchherprosper.com. You can contact us. You can see about the work we do. You can check out, I have a workshop coming up, a redefining prosperity workshop. That's really super fun. If you want to sort of get spiritual and into your business vision, we do some of that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I feel like we should have we need to align at one of our next Warrior Women events and have you on and have it just focused on this subject and really make it actionable.
I would love it. I do a lot of speaking, and it would be incredible to be with y'all in person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Any last comments?
Just remember that who you've been with your money is no indication of who you're capable of becoming with it, right? Like today
Mm,
can be day one. Let go of the judgment, y'all. Let go of the judgment. Call in the trust. Self trust is where it's at.
it
Trust
is.
yourself with money. Trust that you can do this. Trust that even if it's new, that it's available to you and you're capable.
Yeah, I love that. Trust is definitely the key.
Yeah.
And it'll shut down some of those 60,000 negative thoughts, right?
I
Or
hope
you said
so.
80%, so it would be, I don't know, 40.
Yeah.
I've had a
Let's
long
do it the
day.
other way, right? I
Yeah.
know. Well, let's do it the other way. How about we just make 80% of them positive?
Yes, that's the best goal ever. I think that should be our
Yes,
2026 goal, Warrior Women
let's
goal.
do it. Let's do
I love it.
it.
Okay, so again, thank you for sharing your contact information, all your actionable tips today, your insight, your story, information about your business, and of course, the free course, which every Warrior Women definitely needs to jump in if they want a prosperous 2026. So this episode, as usual, will be edited, and in the show notes, we'll include all of her links, her company, any of the course information. You'll get that there. And then as she and I privately plan something to support you even further in 2026 that will be announced. So, with all that being said, a couple of important announcements from Warrior Women Business is intentionally, I scheduled Ruchi today. So that next week, so then you have a week to really get on that course, think about what she said, and join us next week when I'm pleased to have one of the vice presidents at Key for Women, which is the division of KeyBank, which is a national bank, on talking about resources. So loans, grants, other programs that KeyBank is involved with. I'm really privileged to have them coming on board as a Warrior Women partner in 2026 and sharing with us how we can take these things together, how we can look at our businesses and then decide, do we need capital? How do we get capital? How does that work? How do the grants work? How should I be managing my bank account? Like all of those things that we really tactically need to know. So I'm excited about that. That is on a special day and time that's coming on the 30th. Usually I do these on Wednesdays, so that'll be next Thursday. And also, Warrior Women Business is announcing so many events. We have a lot of good things going on. If you are a woman that really, really is into strength and beauty and anti-aging, we are announcing an event coming up shortly in partnership with the mayor's office to help women feel their best inside and out. And that's going to be our next event. So all of that is at warriorwomeninbusiness.com. Again, my name is Jasmine Sandler. Closing off episode 71, but this is not a finality because I'm sure Ruchi and I are going to do many things, it sounds like, in 2026. And I really appreciate you being on prosperity and learning how to really scale your finances. We really need support from people that know how to do it.
Yes, girl. And we need more prosperous warriors out there.
Well, yes, absolutely, 100%. So we'll join forces from the marketing and finance side and get them
Perfect.
moving. So that's it. Thank you so much, everybody that tuned in today. And look out at warriorwomeninbusiness.com for this edited episode with more information about how you can get involved and prosper. Thank you so much. Okay, we're just getting
So